Today, I want to share with you 5 habits that mentally strong people practice every single day, habits that can transform the way you think, act, and lead your life. Emotions are a natural part of being human. They are signals, indicators of how we interpret the world around us. Fear tells us when we feel unsafe. Frustration signals that something isn't going as expected, and joy reminds us of what we value. But while emotions are valuable sources of information, they should not be the sole drivers of our decisions. Mentally strong people understand this distinction. They acknowledge their emotions, but they do not let those emotions take control. Imagine a situation where a leader is facing a crisis. The pressure is mounting, uncertainty is high, and their team is looking to them for guidance. Inside, they may feel fear creeping in, but instead of panicking, they pause. They take a deep breath, they allow themselves to feel the emotion, but they don't react impulsively. Instead, they assess the situation with a clear mind. This is what mental strength looks like in action, using emotions as data, not as instructions. Many people fall into the trap of reacting emotionally without pausing to understand what they're feeling and why. A moment of anger turns into a harsh response. A flash of fear leads to avoidance. Frustration results in giving up too soon. This kind of emotional reactivity weakens us because it makes us slaves to our feelings rather than masters of them. The problem isn't the emotions themselves, it's the way we let them take control of our actions without reflection. Mentally strong people take a different approach. They don't suppress their emotions or pretend they don't exist. Suppression is just as dangerous as impulsivity, because bottled up emotions have a way of resurfacing at the worst possible moments. Instead, strong individuals develop the habit of observing their emotions with curiosity rather than judgment. They ask themselves, what is this feeling trying to tell me? If they feel anxious before a big decision, they recognize that anxiety isn't necessarily a sign to back away. It could be an indicator that they care deeply about the outcome and need to prepare more thoroughly. If they feel frustrated with a colleague, they don't lash out immediately. They reflect on whether the frustration is about the person or about an expectation that wasn't clearly communicated. One of the most important skills mentally strong people develop is emotional regulation. This doesn't mean ignoring or controlling emotions in a rigid way, but rather managing them in a way that serves their goals rather than sabotages them. They understand that emotions are temporary, but the consequences of emotionally driven actions can be permanent. Because of this, they practice techniques that help them stay grounded. Whether it's taking a pause before responding, journaling to process thoughts, or simply labeling emotions to create distance between feeling and action. This ability to separate emotion from decision-making is a superpower in both personal and professional life. Think of a high-pressure negotiation. The person who lets their emotions dictate their response is likely to make impulsive decisions that weaken their position. The one who can recognize their emotions but remain calm and strategic is far more likely to achieve a favorable outcome. The same applies to relationships. A person who reacts emotionally to every disagreement will struggle to maintain meaningful connections, while someone who takes a step back to understand and communicate effectively will build deeper, more resilient relationships. But this isn't just about business or leadership, it applies to every aspect of life. Imagine a setback in your career or a failure in a personal goal. If emotions take over, you might tell yourself you're not good enough and give up. But if you acknowledge the disappointment, reflect on what can be learned, and then choose to keep moving forward, you come out stronger. Owning your emotions but not letting them own you is a lifelong practice. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and intentional effort. But it's one of the most powerful habits you can develop because it gives you control over the only thing that truly belongs to you, your response. When you master this habit, you don't just navigate challenges more effectively. You become the kind of person others look to in moments of uncertainty, and that is the mark of true mental strength. Discomfort is something most people avoid. It's natural to seek comfort, security, and familiarity because they make us feel safe. But the truth is, growth never happens in comfort. Every great achievement, every moment of progress, every transformation, personal or professional, comes from stepping into discomfort. Mentally strong people understand this. They don't run from discomfort. They embrace it, knowing that it is the training ground for resilience, strength, and success. Think about the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was speaking in front of a crowd, starting a business, learning a new skill, or even having a difficult conversation. In that moment, discomfort showed up as doubt, nervousness, or fear. Your heart raced, your palms got sweaty, and you may have felt like backing out. But if you pushed through, something incredible happened. You got better. You adapted. The thing that once terrified you became easier. That is the power of stepping into discomfort. It expands your capacity, making you stronger with every experience. Mentally strong people train themselves to seek out discomfort because they understand that avoiding it leads to stagnation. Avoiding hard conversations weakens relationships. Avoiding failure limits learning. Avoiding risk keeps you stuck in the same place while others grow. The moment you stop challenging yourself is the moment you stop progressing. And that's why discomfort is not the enemy, it's the key to unlocking your potential. Consider an athlete training for a competition. Every time they push their limits, lifting heavier weights, running further, enduring longer, they are in discomfort. Their muscles ache, their lungs burn. And their mind tells them to stop. But they don't. They keep going because they know that strength is built in those moments of struggle. The same principle applies to mental toughness. If you never challenge your mind by facing difficult situations, making tough decisions, or stepping into uncertainty, you will never build the resilience required to handle life's inevitable hardships. The people who achieve extraordinary success in life are the ones who don't wait to feel ready. They take action despite fear, despite self-doubt, despite the discomfort of the unknown. They know that waiting for comfort is a trap that keeps people stuck. Think about the most successful people in the world, whether they are entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, or athletes. None of them got to where they are by staying comfortable. They took risks, faced criticism, endured setbacks, and kept going even when things got tough. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your mindset is to stop seeing discomfort as a sign to retreat and start seeing it as proof that you are growing. Every time you feel that discomfort, whether it's fear, nervousness, or uncertainty, it means you are stepping beyond your current limits. Instead of running from it, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this discomfort teaching me? How is this making me stronger? This habit of embracing discomfort doesn't just help you grow, it also prepares you for life's challenges. When difficult situations arise, and they always will, you won't crumble. You'll have built the resilience to handle them with confidence. You'll have trained yourself to face discomfort rather than avoid it, which means you'll be better equipped to handle rejection, failure, and uncertainty without losing momentum. The people who accomplish the most in life are not necessarily the most talented, the smartest, or the luckiest. They are the ones who are willing to be uncomfortable for longer periods of time. They understand that discomfort is not a roadblock, it's the price of admission for a meaningful life. The good news is, discomfort is not permanent. The more you face it, the more you expand your ability to handle it. What was once terrifying becomes second nature. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable. So the question is, how often do you intentionally step into discomfort? How many opportunities have you avoided because they felt too risky or too uncertain? What would happen if you started leaning into the things that scare you instead of running from them? Because the life you want, the growth you seek, and the success you dream of are all waiting for you on the other side of discomfort. Life is full of uncertainties. Plans fall apart, people disappoint us, and unexpected obstacles arise. When things go wrong, it's easy to feel frustrated, anxious, or even helpless. But mentally strong people have a different approach. They don't waste time or energy worrying about things beyond their control. Instead, they focus on what they can control: their actions, their mindset, and their response to any situation. This mindset shift is one of the most powerful habits a person can develop because it prevents them from getting stuck in cycles of negativity and frustration. Many people spend their lives consumed by things they have no influence over: other people's opinions, the economy, the past, or random circumstances. But no amount of worrying will change those things. What can change everything is where you direct your focus. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. Let's say they both lose their jobs unexpectedly. One person spends weeks blaming the company, feeling bitter about the unfairness of it all, and worrying about the state of the job market. The other acknowledges their disappointment, but quickly shifts their energy to what they can do next. They update their resume, reach out to contacts, and start improving their skills. Who do you think will bounce back faster? It's not about who had better luck. It's about who chose to focus on what they could control. Mentally strong people practice this in every aspect of life. If they're dealing with a difficult person, they don't waste energy trying to change them. They focus on how they respond to the situation. If they fail at something, they don't dwell on the past. They focus on what they can learn and how they can improve. If circumstances are unfair, they don't sit in resentment. They focus on what actions they can take to move forward. This habit is incredibly powerful because it keeps you from feeling powerless. Many people feel stuck in life, but often it's because they are placing too much attention on the wrong things. They obsess over what others think, they get caught up in drama, they stress over things that are completely outside their influence. Meanwhile, the strongest people train themselves to ask, what's in my control? That single question brings clarity, reduces stress, and allows them to take meaningful action. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that external factors don't affect you. It means recognizing that while you can't always control what happens, you can always control how you respond. That response is what defines your character, your resilience, and ultimately, your success. Think about an athlete competing in a major event. They can't control the weather, the judges, or their competition, but they can control their training, their preparation, and their mindset. If they waste time stressing over things outside their control, they weaken themselves. But if they stay focused on their own performance, they give themselves the best chance to succeed. The same principle applies to daily life. Imagine being stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. You can't control the cars in front of you, the stoplights, or the delay. You can control your attitude. You can choose to get frustrated and arrive flustered, or you can use the time to listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or prepare mentally for your meeting. One response drains you, the other empowers you. The beauty of focusing on what you can control is that it simplifies life. Instead of getting caught up in worry, comparison, or frustration, you direct your energy toward things that actually make a difference. And over time, this habit builds confidence, resilience, and inner peace. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by something, take a step back and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, take action. That single habit can transform the way you handle challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. Because in the end, it's not about what happens to you, it's about what you choose to do with it. Mentally strong people don't just go through life reacting to whatever comes their way. They live with intention, driven by a sense of purpose that gives meaning to their actions. Purpose is what fuels them, keeps them moving forward, and helps them navigate challenges with resilience. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to feel lost, stuck, or unmotivated. But when you know why you do what you do, no setback can break you. Purpose isn't just about having a dream or a goal. It's deeper than that. It's about understanding what truly matters to you and using that as your driving force. When people lack purpose, they drift. They jump from one thing to another, chasing short-term wins or avoiding discomfort rather than building something meaningful. They may find themselves constantly seeking motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Purpose, on the other hand, is a long-lasting source of energy. It is the internal fire that keeps mentally strong people moving forward, even when things get tough. Think about the people who inspire you the most: leaders, visionaries, artists, or innovators. They didn't achieve success just because they were talented or lucky. They had a deep sense of purpose that carried them through obstacles, failures, and hardships. Purpose is what keeps a musician practicing when no one is listening. It's what keeps an entrepreneur pushing forward after multiple failures. It's what drives an activist to keep fighting for change despite resistance. The power of purpose is that it gives you clarity. When you have a strong enough why, the how becomes easier to figure out. Challenges no longer feel like roadblocks. They become part of the journey. Every setback is simply another step towards something bigger. Without purpose, obstacles feel like reasons to quit, but with purpose, obstacles become fuel for growth. Mentally strong people don't just wait for purpose to appear, they actively seek it. They ask themselves hard questions. What do I care about deeply? What impact do I want to make? What kind of life do I want to live? They understand that purpose isn't something given, it's something discovered and nurtured over time. And once they find it, they protect it. They structure their lives in a way that aligns with their purpose, making decisions that bring them closer to their mission rather than distracting them from it. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with purpose is that they confuse it with passion. Passion is what excites you in the moment, but passion alone can fade. Purpose, on the other hand, sustains you. It's not just about what excites you, it's about what you are willing to dedicate yourself to even when the excitement wears off. A writer may be passionate about storytelling, but their purpose might be to inspire others through their words. A doctor may be passionate about medicine, but their purpose might be to improve lives through healing. Passion is the spark, purpose is the foundation. Purpose also creates resilience. When people lack purpose, they give up easily. The first sign of failure makes them question whether they should continue. But mentally strong people see failure differently. They understand that setbacks are temporary, but their mission remains. Because they have something greater than themselves to work toward, they can push through the hard times. Having a strong purpose doesn't mean you have all the answers. It simply means you have a direction. Life will always be unpredictable, but when you know your purpose, you always have something to guide you. Even in moments of doubt, you can return to your why and remind yourself why you started in the first place. So ask yourself, what fuels you? What is worth struggling for? What impact do you want to make? Because when you have a purpose, you don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just go through the motions. You create something meaningful. And that is what sets mentally strong people apart. Mentally strong people don't chase instant gratification. They understand that real success, fulfillment, and mastery come from consistent effort over time. They play the long game. In a world obsessed with quick fixes, overnight success, and immediate results, this mindset is rare, but it's also what separates those who achieve great things from those who give up too soon. Playing the long game means being patient. It means understanding that anything truly worthwhile, whether it's building a business, mastering a skill, improving relationships, or achieving personal growth, takes time. Many people get discouraged when they don't see immediate results. They start working out, but quit after a few weeks because they don't see a dramatic transformation. They start a business, but abandon it when success doesn't come fast enough. They begin learning a new skill, but stop when they realize it takes years to master. But mentally strong people know that progress is not always visible in the short term. They trust the process and keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening. This mindset applies to every area of life. Think about personal growth. Becoming a better leader, a better communicator, or a more disciplined person doesn't happen overnight. It requires continuous learning, self-reflection, and small daily improvements. Those who play the long game understand that who they become is shaped by the small habits and choices they make every day. They don't get frustrated by slow progress because they know that consistency will lead to transformation over time. The same applies to relationships. Meaningful relationships, whether personal or professional, are built over time. They require trust, effort, and investment. Many people expect instant connections or perfect relationships, but mentally strong people understand that the strongest bonds are forged through patience, understanding, and long-term commitment. They don't walk away when things get hard. They put in the work to grow together. One of the biggest benefits of playing the long game is resilience. When you adopt a long-term mindset, short-term failures don't discourage you. You see them as part of the journey. Many of the most successful people in the world failed repeatedly before they succeeded. The difference was that they didn't let those failures define them. They stayed committed, knowing that setbacks were temporary, but their vision was long-term. Think about an investor. A short-term thinker tries to get rich quickly, jumping from one trend to another, hoping for immediate returns. A long-term investor, however, understands that real wealth is built over time through smart decisions and patience. The same principle applies to life. Those who stay committed to a long-term vision ultimately create something far greater than those who chase quick wins. Mentally strong people also understand the power of delayed gratification. They resist the temptation of easy rewards in favor of bigger rewards down the road. Instead of spending all their time on distractions, they invest in learning, growth, and building something meaningful. They know that while it's easy to choose what feels good in the moment, true fulfillment comes from choosing what's best in the long run. Playing the long game doesn't mean you won't face frustration or doubt. It means you have the discipline to keep going anyway. It means you trust that your efforts will pay off even when results aren't immediate. It means you are willing to put in the time, effort, and patience required to achieve something truly meaningful. So the question is, are you playing the long game in your life? Are you investing in habits, skills, and relationships that will serve you for years to come? Or are you chasing short-term comfort at the expense of long-term success? Because in the end, those who play the long game don't just achieve more, they build something that lasts.